Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Awesome Girl. In this video, we're gonna go over how to start eating healthy. We're gonna go over what you should be eating, how much you should be eating, and the quality of your food and some common pitfalls. So at the time of this video, it is the day after Christmas, and this should be releasing sometime around New Year's. So around New Year's, we got a whole bunch of New Year, New Yous. But what I commonly find, and I hate to see this happen, so I go to the gym around January, and you always see that the gym is completely packed. So I am an avid fitness enthusiast, so I go to the gym all year round. And around January, yes, I see a whole bunch of these new faces in the gym, just to see around February, everybody is gone. And I hate that. So yes, I love my space. I love having an empty gym to myself, but I love to see people actively trying to take care of yourself, because you only have one body and you don't want to take care of it just for 1 month out of the year. So part of the reason why I'm making this video is to help people learn how to sustainably eat healthy, not just for 1 month, but to be able to make sustainable habits so that you're able to continue for the rest of your lifetime. So I don't like a new year, new you. Like, I want you to be able to continue to do this for the rest of your lifetime. So right here, we are going to start talking about what types of foods you need to be eating. One of the main things that I try to preach when I talk about eating healthy is eating whole food versus these processed foods. Within our food, we have protein, carbs, and fats. Protein you typically get from animal sources, beef, eggs, chicken, fish, even dairy products. Carbs typically get from potatoes, rice, bread, things of that sort, but you also get carbs from plants. So you get carbs from fruits, vegetables, things of that sort. Then you have fats. Fats you typically get from your animal products. So fats are usually found in a lot of these protein sources, but you can also get fats from butter, oil, things of that sort. And I said it in this particular order. So I said protein, carbs, fats, because this is an order that I think we need to start prioritizing it. So protein, most of us are not eating enough protein, and this is awful for us. This is terrible. So if I'm being conscious of what I'm eating, it's harder for me to actually get the amount of protein that I need. If I kind of just go at it willy-nilly, I will probably be getting half the amount of protein that I need. So protein is vital for everything in our body. This is what makes up our muscles. This makes up our bone, our hearts, our blood, our hormones. Everything in our body requires protein. And if we're not getting enough of it, what's happening to all these systems in our body? We need to prioritize getting in protein. And when I say we get in protein, I want you to prioritize getting in protein from whole food sources, preferably animal products. Eggs, chicken, fish, even some dairy products are essential in getting in enough protein. So first off, I always tell my clients 30 to 50 grams of protein in each meal per day. Prioritize getting in protein. It will be difficult at first. It'll be very difficult at first because you are likely not used to getting in this amount of protein. And if it's difficult, that's okay. Slowly start to ease in getting in more protein. Your body will thank you. So with your carbs, you can get your carbs from fruits, vegetables, and you can get them from the starches. I want you to start prioritizing getting in your carbs from plants, lots of fruits and veggies. Because what these fruits and veggies have, they have a whole bunch of micronutrients. So these micronutrients are vital for everything in our body. And if we're not getting in enough fruits and vegetables, we're not going to get in enough of that. Fruits and vegetables also have fiber. Fiber is really good for your gut, and it helps to cleanse your system. So if you're getting in a whole bunch of carbs from a lot of these starches, you might not be getting in enough fiber. You might not be getting in enough micronutrients. So this is why I say prioritize fruits and veggies. So with our meals, we're having that 30 to 50 grams of protein in each meal, but you're also getting in a plant with each meal as well. This will save you. And then we talk about fat. Most of us don't need any additional fat. And I'm gonna say most because some of us do. Most of us don't need any additional fat because we're getting it in, usually in excess in our body. But what's gonna be vital is getting in the proper types of fats. Just like protein and carbs, fat is vital for our body. We need fat in our body. But what we typically do is we overconsume the bad types of fats. Most of us were overconsuming what is called these omega-6 fatty acids versus these omega-3 fatty acids. So we're getting too much of this, too little of this. And these omega-3s are vital for our body. These are a little bit more anti-inflammatory, which has so many health benefits. The omega-6s, they're more inflammatory, which yes, our body needs, but if overconsuming something that's a little more inflammatory and less of something that's anti-inflammatory, this ratio is gonna be a little bit off. It's gonna contribute to more inflammation in our body as opposed to less anti-inflammation. Yes, we need inflammation, later topic, but we don't want inflammation in excess. So when we talk about building a plate, we want a protein, and the protein typically has some type of fat with it. We want to prioritize fruits and veggies, so get a whole bunch of fruits and veggies on your plate, preferably veggies, and you're going to have some fat. So right there, we talked about what we are prioritizing. We're prioritizing the protein and we're prioritizing the plants. Those are vital. As for the carbs, yes, we do need carbs. We do need those additional starches. Those are our energy source. But this might fluctuate depending on our activity levels. So if it's a day that you're not as active, you likely don't need as many starches. So if you're on the computer all day, you didn't go to the gym, you aren't walking around the office all too much, you probably don't need 2 big potatoes at that meal. So now if you just had a hard workout, you're walking around all day, now you gotta go home and clean up, you might need some additional carbs. So this is all to say, this is gonna be person to person specific. And this leads me to my next topic is quantity, how much we should be eating. So how much of each of us is eating is gonna be very dependent on the person. So somebody that's a little bit more active might have a little bit more muscle mass, might be a little bit bigger. They might require more food. Somebody that is a little less active, maybe a little bit smaller, they obviously don't require as much food. So each of us is gonna have a different level of calories or energy that we need to consume. So if you're a female that's looking at this video right now and you're wondering, how much food do I need to be eating? So one of the best ways that you can do it is go to a TDE calculator and see how much food you should be consuming. It's gonna be off. I'm just gonna say right here, it's gonna be off. There's no perfect way to calculate it. But see what it says, calculate how much you should be eating and kind of track it from there. If you gain weight with how much it says you should be eating, you're probably eating in a surplus. If you are eating what it says you should be eating in a maintenance and you're losing weight, you're probably eating in a deficit. So what that means is you're eating either too much of what your body requires or too little of what your body requires. And based off of your goals, if you're trying to gain weight, maybe you're trying to gain weight, maybe you're trying to gain a little bit more muscle, or if you're trying to lose weight, you're gonna have to adjust based off of what your body is telling you. So for protein, we said 30 to 50 grams of protein each meal. What I usually recommend is 3 to 5 meals per day. In total, usually what I recommend is 0.7 to 0.0 grams of protein per ideal body weight. So that's the amount of total protein that you should be eating in a day. I know it might seem a little difficult, especially if you're new to this, and that's because, like I said, it's difficult to get in that amount of protein. And this is where preparing your meals becomes so vital. And that's gonna be a big pitfall. I didn't plan on talking about this today, but if you don't have your food prepped, you are gonna have a harder time getting in that protein because what's typically available is a lot of these processed sugary foods that don't really contribute to the protein goals that you need, the fiber goals that you need, the micronutrient goals that you need. It's just contributing to excess energy in your body that your body has to burn, which you might not be burning. So if you're trying to lose weight, your protein is gonna stay relatively the same because we need it for literally everything in our body, especially if we're trying to build muscle. And if you're starting to eat healthy, I hope you're trying to build muscle, especially if you're trying to do something that is sustainable. But if you're trying to lose a little body fat, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna start to subtract or go into a deficit with the amount of carbohydrates, preferably from starches, or a less amount of fats. Pause this video right here, hit the subscribe button for me, please. So again, where this brings us, 30 to 50 grams of protein per day. You're gonna be having 3 to 5 meals per day. Each plate is gonna have protein, some types of plants. You're gonna add those additional starches depending on your activity level. Now, in talking about the fats are gonna be either in your protein source or maybe potentially served with your veggies. Now, the last thing that I wanna talk about briefly is the quality of your food. So we talked about the omega-6s versus the omega-3s. And one of the biggest pitfalls is the processed food is so available everywhere. So this processed food is even available in typical foods that are labeled as health products. In these processed foods, we're gonna find a lot of these processed oils. These processed oils, they also have a whole bunch of those omega-6 fatty acids as opposed to those omega-3s. So that right there is causing some level of inflammation. Also, you're gonna find in these processed foods is tons of ingredients, tons of things that sound like chemicals, a whole bunch of dyes. And what all these added chemicals do, these are gonna slow down the processes in your body and slow down how efficiently your body works. Also in these processed foods, you're gonna probably find some additional added sugar. So we didn't talk about sugar when we talked about the carbohydrates. So sugar is a type of carbohydrates, but it doesn't have any additional fiber. It doesn't have any additional micronutrients. So any additional sugar that you're finding in these processed foods, it's gonna be limiting your overall goals. So why am I saying this? I'm looking at the overall long-term health of your body, and adding in all these additional chemicals into your body, it's gonna slow down the overall processes of your body. So this is to say, get your food from whole food sources and limit these processed foods. And this leads me to one of the biggest pitfalls, snacking. Snacking is, I think, one of the biggest pitfalls in people reaching their health and fitness goals. So everything that I just said, it is to prevent you from snacking on all these undesirable foods. So what is available when you're hungry and you don't have things prepared? These processed sugary foods. You don't see anybody snacking on kale. Do you ever see that? No, people snack on chips. They snack on cheese and crackers. They snack on potentially candy, things of that sort. And all of those things, they add up. They add up into your calorie or your energy needs. If you're snacking on top of the food that you should be eating, what you're gonna be doing is you're just gonna be adding in additional calories that could later potentially be stored as fat. And yes, you might be getting all the food in that you need to potentially build muscle, help your system, but if you're over-consuming food, that still is gonna be stored as fat. So I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please comment below. Again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you subscribe. Typically, I talk more about workouts, potentially issues, aches, pains, things of that sort. But right here, I'm talking about nutrition because nutrition is vital in dealing with any of these different things. If you like this and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can particularly do this, incorporated with workouts, please join my 7-day challenge. I will link it in the show notes today. If you have any questions, again, please comment below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.